Hi, welcome to Valley Beth Shalom. I'm Rabbi Noah Farkas. I'm actually here with Sarah, and we are celebrating another night of Sukkot here at VBS. Every night we're doing some amazing programs. So for Tuesday night, we are doing a special cook-along with my very good friend, Chef Danny Corsun, and his daughter, Zoe.
Hi.
Say hello.
Thanks, Rabbi. Good to be with everybody tonight.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to always be here and always cooking with my daughter. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing that we get to do together.
Yes.
I'm so excited to be with both of you. And you run Culinary Kids Academy. Many people at VBS know about it. It's an educational program that infuses spiritual and Jewish values into cooking and using cooking to teach those values. And we've been friends for a long time, and you've both been members for an even longer time. And I just want to thank you for your membership, and thank you so much for being part of our community.
Wouldn't be anywhere else. It's a matter of fact, I will say that Culinary Kids Academy got its start in a general studies environment when I was an elementary school teacher, doing math, science, history woven into a cooking class. But gosh, in 2009, I went to Rabbi Schulweis and Feinstein, and I said I could do what I do in a secular environment, but I could do it with Judaic study and Jewish values. And both rabbis were all in. And so Culinary Kids Academy Judaics got its start at Valley Beth Shalom. So we're very proud of that.
That's amazing. So why don't you tell us what you're going to cook for us, with me tonight?
For sure. So you're in my sukkah as I finished building it a couple of days ago. It's we'll give you a tour of the grand tour in a little while. But you know, as part of the holiday, it's a harvest holiday. It's one of the three harvest holidays, Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuot. And so what are we doing when we're harvesting, Zoe?
We're getting all those fresh foods.
We are all getting our fruits and vegetables. And so today I thought it would be really great if we made something with a lot of really jam-packed full of flavor veggies. And so we are going to do something a little bit strange for some folks, because we're going to be making shakshuka, but we're not going to be making conventional shakshuka. So here's a fantastic cookbook. I tell everybody, if you want to cook really, really amazing food, get this cookbook. It's actually almost like a work of art. It's not just a cookbook. It's beautiful inside, and you feel like you're walking through the streets of the shuk when you're reading this. But look, shakshuka plays a, look, it got the cover, so it's pretty important, right? So we are not making the egg version today. We are actually, I've adapted the recipe so that we're actually making a shakshuka sauce. And so it has the basic foundation of shakshuka, but we are going to use the sauce on top of an amazing za'atar grilled salmon. And so it's a fantastic entree that kind of incorporates a lot of Mediterranean flavors, but definitely Israeli, and uses some amazing red pepper. Tomatoes play a huge role in this. Za'atar plays a huge role in this.
Lots of different seasonings.
A lot of different seasonings, cumin, coriander. And so, I eat this dish, I make this dish, and it makes me think of Sukkot because it's such a wonderful harvest dish and a harvest holiday. So that's what we're going to be doing. So there's a lot of action going to be happening. And I know that you're going to be cooking with us. So I'm excited about that.
I'm really excited. Sarah's really excited.
Yes.
We have all the ingredients here in our kitchen. Oh, I wanted to show you something really quickly.
Please do.
This is a lemon, right?
Yes.
Not natural.
Right. Yeah, no. This is an etrog.
I see your etrog and I raise you an etrog.
All right, so hold up your lemon.
There's my lemon.
Hold up your etrog.
There's my etrog.
Now compare the two.
We actually have a small etrog.
Well, yeah, this is not like one of those massive etrogs, but it's still way, way bigger than my lemon.
It's true. If you turn the etrog towards the camera like this, it looks super, super big. If I go like this, there you go.
About breaking the pitom on the lemon.
That's true. Well, in fact, we're going to slice this one up, but this one's beautiful etrog.
I'll mix them up now.
It's a lot of stress when I'm holding this thing because I do not want to break that because correct me if I'm wrong, is it no longer kosher if the pitom is broken, right?
That is correct. The etrog has to be totally whole, which includes the little piece at the top, which is called the pitom. And then if it breaks off, it's now just something that's good for basically for liquor. Like you can make citron liquor or jam, right? So
Absolute
jam for me.
Jam for you. Okay, so we're gonna have a lemon here. just wanted to show you that.
Now the lemon, by the way, we are actually going to grill lemon slices to go along with our salmon to provide even more flavor because they're they do have sugars in it. It's going to caramelize a little bit. It's going to get a little bit of a char, and it's going to provide that lemon flavor to go on top of our salmon when we're ready to plate it. So, and Zoe's going to teach you an amazing lesson about lemons. And also we've got wild rice that we're going to bed this on. And the wild rice, I've saved one major ingredient. I have a lime here. And she's going to teach you about how to get the most juice out of a lime or a lemon, any citrus fruit that you must do before you try to squeeze it. So we're going to save that, but that's going to be our lime rice. That's going to go on the bottom of the plate, then our salmon, and then our fantastic shakshuka sauce on top. Anybody hungry?
Very hungry.
Let's get started. Let's do this.
All right, so to get started, I have a pan here, pretty nice sized pan. I'm going to give you a little bit of a cutting lesson. And Chef Zoe's going to grab the camera when we can and bring it over here, because a lot of times, and those students of mine at Valley Beth Shalom who have taken my lessons before will understand that you must cut safely. And now you're getting a fantastic tour of my sukkah. There you go. We don't want to cut ourselves, right? We want to make sure that we stay as safe as humanly possible. So I have a knife here, right? Most people hold the knife incorrectly. They hold the knife using the handle. This is the wrong way to hold the knife. One would think that it's the right way since it's the handle, but you want to actually have your fingers in a very different position. So my thumb goes over here on this part of the blade. My forefinger goes here. This is now an extension of my wrist. It can't go anywhere I don't want it to go. I have so much more control over this knife when I'm cutting it, using it like this, okay? So, and you can test it out and you'll see. Hold it like this and then hold it like this and you'll notice you have way more control this way. All right, next thing. This hand is equally as important as this hand. With this hand, it doesn't matter. Look, I once cut myself, had to go to Tarzana Hospital. Doctor had to sew my finger back on me. And he said, Chef Danny, you got to figure out a different way of cutting. And so I did. And I came up with what's called a bear claw. Now, I don't know that necessarily I came up with it, but it's the way I teach. So with your less dominant hand. So my dominant hand, the hand I write with, is the hand I cut with. The other hand, the off hand, makes a bear claw. Make a bear claw. Take your bear claw, put it down like that. You notice your fingertips are down and in. As hard as I try, I cannot cut myself. So we're going to start with an onion, okay? So look, rolling things are the enemy of the chef. Anything that rolls is dangerous. So therefore, if I don't want it to be dangerous, what I need to do is cut it in half and create a flat side. Whenever you cut anything round, create a flat side. Flat things don't roll. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave, by the way, the stem, the root on. I'm not going to cut that off. I've cut the other side off and I've skinned it because it's clearly not edible, but I'm leaving this on and you're going to see why in a second because it's going to hold it together. So you see my bear claws like that. It's not like that. It's certainly not like that. We don't pinch our food. We're going to go like this. I'm going to cut this right down the middle. So you see now the root is holding my onion together. So that is going to make life a whole lot easier. Have you pre-cut your onions, Rabbi?
No comment.
That's cheating, but that's okay. I like the preparedness. So anyway, what I want you guys at home to do is you're gonna make slices in the onion just like this, okay, straight down, and you're gonna see how I'm gonna this is like an amazing cooking hack that's gonna make life so much easier. Then I'm gonna make one cut straight down through the onion. So now I've cut it both ways, okay? I'm gonna put it off to the side. I'm gonna take my bear claw. Now watch this. We want a dice, okay? I want a dice that's gonna give me basically same size pieces, okay? Now every time I cut, I move my bear claw down. So I'm gonna do it again, right? So you see, every time I cut, I'm moving my bear claw down so that I will never, ever cut myself. Again, holding the knife correctly, all right? So we're going to get these into our pan because we are going to saute them. What I want you to do is fire up your pan.
Okay.
You want to get it to a good amount of heat. Just like you preheat an oven, you have to preheat a pan because you don't want to put anything and it's going to take a while to cook. So I've actually covered this because I want it to cook pretty fast. And what we're going to do is we're going to sweat these veggies. Chef Zoe, what does that mean?
sweat means you're getting all the water out of the veggies.
So onions have a tremendous amount of water in them, okay? And so when you sweat anything, any aromatics, right, you want to take the water out. So that steam that's coming up is all that water that's inside the veggies. So I'm going
Is this where I start making the jokes about the schwitz and like...
Look, there's a fantastic comedian by the name of Kathy Lavin who says she's got a family now. She can't go out and do all the things she wanted to do. The way she gets her facials is by cooking onions or going in front of the dishwasher, right? Right? All right. So we are going to add some olive oil, okay? So I like really good olive oil when I cook, okay? Now, like super, super good extra virgin olive oil you want to use for dressings. Regular olive oil is okay for cooking. So you're going to take a little bit of olive oil, about a couple of tablespoons, get it into the pan. All right, so we are going to start sauteing our onions. All right, it's going to start to come up to temperature pretty quickly. Chef Zoe's got a non-stick spatula, a heat-resistant spatula.
We're going to coat all of the onions with the olive oil.
Right, you want to coat all the onions with the olive oil. All right, and they're going to start to kind of wet down. You're gonna start to hear the sizzle. Now we're outside, so it's going to take a little bit longer because even though it's a warm day here in Encino, it's still going to take a little bit longer for us to cook stuff outside than it would be for you guys inside. So Chef Zoe's got the sizzles working. Okay, so we're going to let that go a little bit, and we're going to start to add some other ingredients. Okay, we want to have these be really soft. Okay, so that's what you're kind of looking for. Actually, the word is translucent, right? Translucent is you want them soft. They kind of get, like I said, sweated down. You can't see through them, but they're certainly not opaque like they start with, right? They started this way. You can really start hearing sizzling now. What we're going to do is start adding other ingredients into the mix, okay? So we have what's called harissa. Rabbi, you know what harissa is, yes?
If I remember correctly, maybe you could share what harissa is?
No.
It's the red chili paste that is indigenous to the Middle East.
Bingo.
And has a very spicy, but also a slightly sweet flavor.
It does, and actually, I like things that have both spicy and sweet.
He likes sriracha.
Sriracha to me has a very fruity flavor to it that I love because it's got a little jam packed with a punch to it, but it's also got a fruity flavor. Harissa is very much the same way. It's got chili paste and red pepper, right? It's got some onion, so it's kind of cooked down. So that's really thick. Mine isn't nearly as thick as yours, but that's great. So we want to add that in. I'm going to give this a quick saute again. And then you can start adding in your harissa. All right.
Jeffy, how much harissa did the recipe call for? Do you remember?
It calls for 2 tablespoons of harissa. Okay. So you can look. Here's the thing. Like cooking is not nearly as much of the exact science that baking is. Okay. So I know, like my brother loves spicy. Matter of fact, they call him Uncle Red because when they were little, we would eat spicy food. His entire bald head would get smoking red hot, right? So that was why he's always, Uncle David is Uncle Red.
Yep.
So he would add more harissa. So I'm saying to you, Sarah, if you like spicy, go for the harissa.
I like spicy.
All right, I like that. So, and we're gonna add in a couple other things. So you want all of those to start combining, okay? And so we're gonna add in our tomato paste. This is really going to add a lot of body to the sauce, right?
Much thicker.
It's going to thicken it up. And it's the thing about tomato paste is super intensive tomato flavor, okay? They come in really small cans, but don't think that only one tomato went in that can. Super intense. So we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, okay? And you want to kind of mix that up as well so that it kind of combines with our onion and our harissa. All right, so you want to get all of that kind of combined, and it'll start to melt when you get it into the pan, okay? Already, I don't know if you can tell, but the smells that are coming up from this pan are so amazing. And if
it's delicious.
Yes.
you've got really spicy harissa, your eyes will start to water, right? That's the beauty of spice. All right, so in there, we're going to start adding a bunch of really amazing flavors. So we've got red pepper. Now, I bought a product that is roasted red pepper, but I could have just as easily taken a red pepper, put it on top of my grill, or even the cooktop that you have, and then fire roasted the pepper. You throw it inside of a Ziploc bag. 5 minutes later, you can peel that red pepper so that the skin is off and the sweetness and just the amazing flavor of the pepper remains. So you can do that. You can do what I did, which is any number of fantastic red pepper products. So I'm going to actually add my roasted red peppers in. This, like Rabbi, you said, adds both, there's a sweetness to this that's going to play really nicely with our spice.
It's one cup.
It's 1 cup of roasted red pepper. All right. Once that is in, okay, you want to start adding your other ingredients. Now, I'm going to let Chef Zoe do a little bit of a lesson because she's going to teach you how. I don't know about you, but the thing that I hate about garlic is that you sit there peeling it for a day and a half and your hands get all stinky from the garlic. Yeah. She's going to give you an amazing lesson on exactly what to do to make sure that you do not have an issue with your garlic. So
it calls for 4 cloves of garlic. I'll show you one. So instead of peeling, we're gonna use a spatula. This is just a nice metal spatula, and we're gonna put it right on top. Or you could use a knife, but this one has a better surface.
But I wouldn't use a knife because it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So any flat surface will do. I love to use a spatula, but you'll see a lot of chefs on TV use a knife. I'm not a bigger fan of that. Let's be safe in the kitchen.
So you take the spatula and you just hit the garlic so that right away the peel comes right off. You don't have to spend any time doing any peeling because it comes right off. So I'll do the second one.
So do one more, and then you just want to get a nice dice of that garlic, right? And it comes right off. You don't have to spend a lot of time. And depending on whether or not you had a good day or a bad day, you can really pound down on that garlic.
I love garlic. Yeah, garlic is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's got great flavor. And this actually calls for a decent amount. It calls for 4 garlic.
I think your head's gonna be cut off.
So it's gonna be really it's gonna be a pronounced flavor. You're gonna really taste that garlic.
When I was living in Israel, you always knew when the garlic harvest came in because in the shuk, they would sell them by the bunch and they had them all braided like in that classic sort of like almost like if you were going to an Italian restaurant, you would see them hanging, except they're all fresh. So like it wasn't dried out. The leaves were all green. You remember that? It was like
for like a week or 2 a year, that's it.
Yeah, a week or 2 a year, but it was like really, really amazing.
You're making a lot of things with garlic that week.
Yeah, I have to. Unlike potatoes, which is like the Jewish staple, it's like Jewish bread. Like you have to make everything out of it.
No, I mean, look, we eat what's around us, right? This is the way life has always been, and we've been spoiled because you can go to Vaughn's or Gelson's or Ralph's and get something from the other side of the world. But this is why I love, like on even on this holiday or any other holiday, we're eating things that are we're eating
Farm fresh.
Hundreds of years ago in these places because this is what they grew then, right? All right, so Zoe's got the garlic. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that into our pan.
And we use our bear claw even on small foods like garlic.
Yes. So the garlic, because it's small, is not going to take a long time to cook. Okay. We're gonna add that in. I lowered the flame just a little bit because I wanted to. You're gonna see in a little bit. We're gonna add some liquid, but we're gonna let this cook down. We have to start adding our layers of flavor. So Culinary Kids Academy, when we teach our Jewish studies within our cooking class, we're still teaching cooking. So you might learn about Sukkot, but you're also going to learn that any recipe has layers of flavor. We want to add those layers, and ultimately we want all those flavors to come together really harmoniously. So in this particular dish, we have some really amazing Mediterranean flavors. We have cumin. We have one teaspoon of ground cumin. That's going to go in, and you're going to see, by the way, that as soon as that gets added, the floral notes, the earthy nature of that cumin is going to come, just smoking out of that pan. I know, right? I would say that the next thing we're going to add is probably, I was so enamored with this when I found it. I had never had it before. We took, with VBS, by the way, our oldest son, Zachary, we went on a bar and bat mitzvah mission with 7 other fantastic VBS families, and we toured the city. And I I came upon the shuk and I went in and I saw all these amazing spices. And it's,
here.
you know, in this book, there's a picture of it where they are all in pyramids. All the spices are all around the shuk in these fantastic pyramids. And the vibrancy of the colors are just screaming out at you. And you're like, look at that, I have to try that. I have no idea what it tastes like, I don't care. And so, I came upon one and I think the guy said, have you ever had za'atar? I said, no. And so he let me try it. And it was, basically it's like a Mediterranean oregano or hyssop, right? And it has toasted sesame seeds and a bunch of other different herbs and dried herbs. So clearly, if this is a big thing because a lot of people don't know it has sesame seeds. If you are allergic to sesame, you cannot have this because clearly it will send you in a bad way. But I'm going to add in our 2 teaspoons of za'atar. And
So this za'atar I have is the one that we gave out on Purim. If you remember this in our Mishloach Manot, we gave this out. It is the za'atar peace mix. It's made by this wonderful organization that tries to reach out to women, both Israeli and Palestinian, and they actually make herbs and things together in order to create this person-to-person diplomacy to try to look for peace. And it also happens, so this is imported from Israel. And we gave it out earlier this year, and it's actually really, really good.
I wish I could have taken some back with me. It's not allowed, and unless you smuggle. And I've been known to smuggle. Right?
From Israel, who doesn't? I mean, from Israel, you want to bring something home?
Yeah, you know, Ziploc bags and socks are for. So you know.
And it just smells like cumin, so it's fine. Everything
smells like dirt. So what we have right now is the base for our shakshuka sauce. We're going to do a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to taste. Now, what does that mean? About a half a teaspoon of both. A little bit, not a lot. A little bit goes a long way. And you season as you go. You don't just season all at the front and let it go until you get to the end and you taste it and say, oh my gosh, it needs salt. So I like to season as I go. So I'm going to give it a couple of grinds of the black pepper. I like to use fresh ground pepper because, again, the oils from the pepper and the taste of the pepper is a little bit more pronounced when you use peppercorns. And if you get fancy, like this one has rainbow peppercorns, and that's really good. So what we're going to do is, this is now, I'm going to show it to you because you're going to see what it's supposed to look like. And Zoe's doing a great job of stirring. And so you see, it's kind of thick, right? And that's kind of what it's going to be like, except we are going to add in our diced tomatoes. The diced tomatoes are going to loosen it up a little bit, but we're going to cook it down and let the sauce reduce. And then it'll thicken up again, because again, like I said, this is kind of sauce. But if we were making shakshuka like classically, we would crack a couple of eggs into the end, and that would be the last step of making classic shakshuka. Rabbi, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Since on Sukkot we're supposed to think about who we would want to invite to our sukkahs, who would you invite to your sukkah?
Good question. So that's called ushpizin. It's an old.
There's no distancing involved.
No. Let's say it was in a different time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who should we invite? I definitely would invite my in-laws, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, because they just had a baby in New York and we're not able to see them. So I would definitely invite them. I kind of want to invite Nicholas Tesla because he's just such a crazy kook. I would love to have a dinner with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you, Danny?
Him would be a good thing, I think. Plus the fact we just bought stock, so it's a good. I want to get the inside track. Okay, so mine is, it's funny because Rabbi Feinstein asked me this question last year in services, and I thought about it for a second. And so growing up, this holiday was a very special holiday for me because my dad and I and my brother built our sukkahs every year. And it was very, it wasn't the PVC pipe version, as you can see. I could probably do, pull-ups on this. This is like 2x4s, L brackets, nuts, bolts. And so every year it brings me, my dad passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. And so it brings me closer to him. So I would say that I think he would have just incredible nachas to know that the sukkah that he grew up building with me is the sukkah that I build with Zoe and the rest of the family. So I would invite my dad.
That's so nice. I love that. And I would pay to watch you do pull-ups on the edge of the sukkah.
I said I could probably do it. I didn't say. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna turn this down to a very, very, very low flame, the lowest flame you can get, and we are going to cover it. Okay, because it is time to start making the kind of the paste that we're going to put on our fish. Now, Rabbi, you're inside. We are outside. I am actually going to use my grill to grill the salmon, and we're using salmon. If you don't like salmon, you can use other fish. You can use halibut. You can use branzino. You can use whatever fish you wish. It's just really important that you don't overcook fish, because if you do, it gets really dry, and fish is really expensive. And dry fish and expensive fish ruined is no good. So what we're going to do is we are going to make the paste. So in this bowl, I have already put in all of our herbs and spices. And so what we have in here is 1 teaspoon of za'atar again, okay? Because again, this is a za'atar encrusted salmon. So we have za'atar, we have coriander, right?
So
what
coriander
else?
wasn't in the shakshuka, but it's in this one.
Correct.
We have cumin again.
By the way,
teaspoon.
coriander. Tell them what coriander. You all know what coriander is. A seed. Grind it up. It becomes the powder we use. But do you know
actually
what you would use to grow if a seed was actually used to grow the plant? What the plant is?
Trick question.
Are you asking me a question, or are you asking Zoe?
So we're giving you a chance.
So I'm giving you a chance. So the question is, if I planted a coriander seed, what plant does the coriander seed grow?
I think it's cilantro.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Yes, all the sous chefs are studs tonight. All right, so
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper goes in, okay? Cumin, like we
Exactly.
said, a coriander, cumin, salt and pepper,
And
za'atar, okay?
always
So
za'atar.
we're gonna always za'atar, right? So we're gonna mix that together, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add about a little, look, we're looking for a paste, right? So we don't want it to be too loose. So we're going to add in our olive oil. All right. So it calls for about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then we're going to take a whisk, a baby whisk. And Chef Zoe is going to whisk all of that together. And that is going to be the salt, the kind of beautiful, full of flavor, almost like a marinade that we're going to use on our fantastic salmon.
Salmon fillets.
Salmon fillets, right? So these are from an amazing fishmonger in Sherman Oaks, which is where I get all my fish. Because again, with high quality fish, you get what you pay for. I'm a big fan of really high quality ingredients. All of these ingredients we're using, look, I would much rather you spend a little bit more and enjoy the food a little bit more, because in a lot of times, especially with fish, you get what you pay for. All right, so we have, what we're going to do is we are going to take the kind of marinade or the topping that Zoe did, and we're going to put it onto our salmon. All right, and then we're going to get our hands dirty. We are going to rub this in to our salmon. I will show you. We're going to massage the salmon, both sides, right? Both sides, because you guys get cooked, right? You don't only one side. That's the thing that a lot of people do wrong, is they only season one side of things.
I actually really like salmon skin, so I like my salmon skin flavorful.
Yes, exactly. We are big fans of salmon skin, the two of us, nobody else in the house, so we get all the salmon skin.
Yep.
So I want you to season both sides. I want you to get it all into the fish. Get your hands dirty. This is, again, why we wash our hands so well, especially these days, right? We want to make sure it's all in. And you could tell my salmon, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to bring it over to you. My salmon has pretty much absorbed all of that liquid, all of that olive oil
And so you see that it's really kind of encrusted, right? And this is going to cook beautifully on our, and you see on both sides that I'm doing this. So I'm going to walk over to my grill. Now, here's the thing. The grill needs to be oiled if you're using a grill.
Pan.
And the pan, obviously. You're going to put
Or
a little bit of
inside.
oil, canola oil. Now, Chef Zoe, I'm going to show you what you need to do. The first thing you need to do is clean the grill. So why don't you guys come on over? Zoe and I are going to walk over to the grill. I'm going to take this over there. The grill has been preheating. And we are going to walk through walls here for you guys of our sukkah. Here we go. Walking through the wall, and look where we go. We are already at, be careful.
Here's the grill.
Here is the grill. So we have our salmon here. Now I'm going to take a towel, and I'm just going to take some canola oil, right? I'm going to put it on the towel, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub the grate of the grill, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is clean the grill.
How hot's the grill?
How hot's the grill? The grill's probably about 350 to 400 degrees, right? So I'm gonna, first thing I need to do is make sure that I clean the grill, because you don't want this to stick, okay? So the best thing to do, and same with your pan, you want it hot, okay? The way to get the fish not to stick, or anything, quite frankly, is the heat. So we're gonna clean it first. Perfect. And then what we're going to do is I'm literally just going to rub the canola oil onto the grill. All right. And you might have seen other chefs do this, and this kind of oiling the grill makes it so it doesn't stick. And I'm not going to, sometimes we spray and flames come up. You don't want to deal with that, right?
Now, you use canola oil because it has a higher smoke point, right?
Yeah, and also it's a neutral flavor, okay? So I don't want to, I've already got olive oil going on here, but I don't want to introduce so many different flavors. And the olive oil, you're right, has a tremendously high smoke point, right? So you don't want any flare-ups, okay? And that's the other thing, by the way, again, some people that spray of the canola oil see that flare-up, right? So that looks beautiful. Your salmon looks gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Those are some gazunta pieces of salmon you got there.
I got a big family. What can I say?
I love the fact that they all eat this. All right, so what you're going to do is skin side down, okay? You're going to place it on. You're going to hear the sizzle just like that, all right? And I am just literally going to leave this be, right? You don't want to move it around. You don't want to play with it. It's going to fall apart. The skin has to get crispy. And then we're going to take a nice metal spatula, and we're going to turn it. I am going to cover this. Salmon, like most fish, you don't want to overdo. It's an oily fish. So it's got a decent amount of omega-3 fatty acids in it, which makes it really good for us, really good for your memory, really good for brain function, right? And so it's got a lot of protein too. So we want to let the oils remain. We don't want to cook all those oils out, right? So we don't want really, really dry. So we're going to cover this, but we're going to come back in literally like 3 or 4 minutes. Now,
should I cover the pan?
So you don't need to cover the pan, because then it's going to start cooking both sides. You can literally, as long as you're bringing it up to temperature, you're going to start to see, when you do it in the pan, you'll be able to see the edges of that skin kind of crisp up, and you're going to see. So then you'll know when to turn it. And then when you do, you'll turn it over, and always try to turn away from you, not toward you, because there'll be splatter of oil. Again, I cook with adults, but we cook a lot with kids. We want to stay as safe as possible in the kitchen. All right. So come on back. We're going to walk through walls again. Zoe, come on through. Be careful. All right. Awesome. So we are returning to our shakshuka sauce and you can see, I just raised the lid, and this big whiff of amazing flavor came up hit my olfactory, my nose. All right.
You can see the steam too.
And you can see, and by the way, I've got a little crust going on here on the bottom of my sauce, right? So I've got a little bit of a char, right? The garlic is not overdone because we've lowered the flame to the lowest. You don't bitter burnt garlic, the worst thing ever. So now what I'm going to do is I have some tomatoes that are diced, okay? And you can cut regular tomatoes. I have regular diced tomato,
And I'm going to put that in just like this. Now the temperature, obviously, of that is going to bring the temperature down. So we're going to end up covering this again. This is what's going to provide a little bit of liquid to the mix. If you don't want to use diced tomato, you can use crushed tomato. You can use, I wouldn't use tomato sauce because again, what you were looking for is some body, right? You're looking for some texture, and that's what makes this such a great sauce.
Gives it some chunks.
Yeah,
too.
it's kind of rustic, you know. I mean, shakshuka is a very rustic dish to begin with, right? It's you got a lot of mouthfeel going on when you get that stuff in there. It's really, really good. It reminds me, honestly, of my mom used to make eggplant, ratatouille, and it kind of has almost like a ratatouille to it. But so as you can see, it's kind of thick. What we're going to do is bring it back up to temperature. I'm going to cover it just like that. And then what we forgot to do, and we'll get it on the grill, won't take very long, is we're going to get our lemon. So Zoe's going to give it a lemon, just do a couple of lemon slices. And we don't need to roll this. We're going to do the rolling when we do the lime.
If we wanted to get the juices, we'd be rolling it, but since
But
we're only doing it for
we'll
the
do that with the lime,
slices.
so it's okay. So don't worry about it. So let's just get a couple of slices, and you want to, you know, about a 1/4 inch thick, right? Not too thin, okay? And then what's going to happen is you're literally just going to put them on the grill, and I'm going to tell Zoe to go over there while I get started, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to the rice. So just about 3 or 4, probably about 4. So you want 2
Yeah, I got
slices
4.
per. All right. So Zoe's going to go over there. She's going to get those on the grill. You kind of want to put them toward the back. You don't want them on direct heat because again, these are gonna cook pretty fast. So if you want to, you can still do it in the pan, right? The lemons. Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Throw them in the pan.
Yeah, you can throw them on the side, right? On the side of the pan. It's gonna, yeah, perfect. And the residual heat will definitely cook, and the lemon flavor will definitely come and impart. So I've got the shakshuka sauce going. It's gonna be great. We're gonna let that simmer for another couple of minutes. I said earlier that I'm gonna plate this on a bed of rice. I have some wild rice that I made earlier. Rabbi, you said you have couscous, right? You have couscous. I have wild rice. You can make this with quinoa. I've done that too, and it's really, really good. But like anything else, I want those layers of flavor. So we're gonna even kick up the couscous or the quinoa or the wild rice. And the way we're gonna do that is by adding lime. Okay. Now we could add lime zest, which is really good too. But I'm gonna give you a very quick. Any citrus fruit has what's called membranes inside. This citrus fruit work really hard to get its juice. If we just cut it open and squeeze it, we're not going to get all the juice. So what we want to do is we have to roll it. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? So Zoe, I'm going to bring the camera over so you can show everybody what you need to do. The reason you're rolling it is you have to break up the membranes.
They don't want to give us their juice that they work so hard for.
Exactly. So she's going to use the heel of her palm.
Right here, the heel of my palm, and just roll.
You want
to
to
get softer.
Yeah. And you're going to find that it actually starts to smell way more like a lime by doing this. Why? Because you're activating the oils that exist in the skin of the lemon. That's why lemon zest has such an amazing lime zest, lemon zest, whatever honestly citrus fruit you're working with has such a pronounced flavor because all the essential oils get activated when you zest it.
And immediately, right when I cut it, juices came out.
So all you need to do with your couscous or your quinoa or whatever, or your rice, is just take a little bit of that lime and then squeeze it in. You're going to give it a quick mix.
Luckily, there are no seeds.
No seeds in lime. But if you were doing this with lemon, which you totally could, just squeeze it into your hand, catch the seeds, let the juice go through. So that's good to go. This is simmering. We now need to go turn our fish. I don't know where you're at, Rabbi. Are you almost ready to turn?
I'm ready to turn my fish.
I agree. So we're going to go over and turn. You're going to see what I'm looking for in terms of doneness. And eventually you can get so good that you can actually touch the fish and know that it's time to turn, right? So if it has a certain feel, sometimes people are able to do this with meat as well, that they can just touch it and it feels a certain way that they're able to know it's time to turn. So here we go. So I have it on, like I said, about 400 degrees.
All right, so I'm going to take, you're going to see that this is now going to not stick at all. If I would have messed with it, I would have had a tough time. So here we go. All right, look at that, didn't stick at all. Look at that, not one. Look, the salmon's too good to waste. And so you see that Chef Zoe has taken our lemon. You want to put some really good char marks on it, turning those as well. So you can, whoa, casualty. So you can turn yours too, so that it gets both sides.
That one will get very charred.
That one's gonna get really charred. That one's for another day. So we're gonna let that cook for probably about another 3 minutes. All right, it's not gonna take very long at all. And you're gonna keep the heat where it's at, and you're gonna see. By the way, the thing about fish or meat in general is that even when you remove it from the heat, it actually continues to cook, right? So you really shouldn't be taking stuff off when it's done, because it's going to get overdone when you let it sit and rest. And the reason you let it sit and rest, because all the flavors kind of come together. As you know, Rabbi, you're big smoker. You make great meat. If you cut into a piece of meat before, when it comes right off the smoker or the grill, all that beautiful juice comes running out. You want to keep that stuff in that. And so if you let it sit and rest, then it's going to stay in there and let those flavors come and be as good as it could possibly be. Right?
Amazing.
All right, cool. So let's go back again. We're getting some exercise. We're getting our steps in and our Fitbits. And so I am now going to take, look, you see, again, it's come to not a boil, but like a simmer. My shakshuka sauce is pretty much ready. All right.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is turn off the heat at this point. Okay.
This will also continue cooking in the pan. It's hot.
Yeah, it's really hot. And so what you can do is start to prepare your plates. Like if you are entertaining at home, you kind of want to start, prepping the plates at this point, because once that fish comes off, you want it on the plate and served, so that it's served hot and it's served, at an optimal time.
Also,
yeah,
we're all about presentation.
We are.
So we need to take time on our plates.
Because as we just finished our first platform lessons, Rabbi, and they were all called Kitchen Cornerstones. So we talked about how we taste. We don't only taste with our mouths, we taste with our eyes, we taste with our nose, and it's called team taste. And just to give you an example of how we incorporated Judaism with that, because every lesson we do incorporates Judaism, we talked about Havdalah and how there is a team in Havdalah, multiple teams, to enhance and make the experience, that much more meaningful. So, so we're all about your eyes here. So we want to make sure the food you're eating looks good. All right, so our rice is down. Quite literally, I don't think it's going to be more than another minute at 400 degrees. How's your fish doing?
I think it's done, actually.
So I would take it off and then certainly onto your couscous. I'm going to go get the fish. Well, Chef Zoe, you can just stay here. And
I can bring you the plates if you want.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Now, do I plate it skin side up or skin side down?
Inside down.
Yeah, I usually think on the top. Is the skin crispy too?
Oh, yeah.
We call it our salmon bacon because we don't eat meat, so our salmon skins are salmon bacon.
Yes. Having never eaten bacon, I grew up in a kosher home, so I never ate bacon. So
I've never even eaten turkey bacon.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we are going to start plating ourselves. Our salmon skin is beautifully crispy, and both of those go right on top. I'm going to take that spoon, and I'm going to take my shakshuka sauce and lay it directly across the top, just like this.
We got our lemons too.
And then we're going to take the lemon slices.
Extra presentation
that
points.
we've charred, exactly.
And we're gonna put those, this one has 2, that one only has 1, that's okay.
Perfect.
Oh, you know what, that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna show you what we got, Rabbi.
Should we bring it?
Yeah, let's see what you got. Here's what we got. I guarantee you, you make this in the sukkah, you're not gonna have people leave. Look at that.
Nailed it.
Nailed
Nailed it.
I love it. I love it. Can we take a bite?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna cheat and just eat.
All right. All right, here we go.
Here's to your health.
You as
Cheers.
well. Thank you for having us.
Chag Sameach.
That's Sukkot Sameach to you as well and everybody watching. Oh, perfect.
That's really good.
It's good. It's spicy.
Really, ooh, that's really good. Kind of hits you.
You sound surprised.
I'm so surprised.
It hit me in like a wave. Like I tasted the tomato and then boom, I got the little punch, which was really good.
Again, that's the spice, right? So if you add a little bit more, it's going to continue to hit you until you actually feel it kind of in the back of your throat, and then it's like
In the best way possible.
In the best way
Yeah.
possible. So there you have it, Sukkot at the at Culinary Kids Academy Judaics Sukkah. I thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Chef Danny, and to Chef Zoe
Thank
for
you.
being part of our community and for doing so much for us. And to everyone watching tonight, I hope you enjoyed making the shakshuka and the za'atar encrusted salmon with Chef Danny and Chef Zoe. The recipe is available online on our website, and we just hope you have a wonderful Sukkot. Modin l'simcha and chagim l'zmanim sason. Just enjoy this holiday. Try to find as much joy as you can. And we want to wish everyone an amazing evening. Say goodnight.
Take care.